Hey, 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 Vicky Downey here, coming to you in December, as you can tell, after hearing Jeff Olson's landmark talk at the Eric Worre GoPro experience, where he shares about Neora's incredible victory over the FTC. You got to hear this.
So please welcome to the stage my friend and a hero to the network marketing profession, Jeff Olson.
Nothing can break me down.
You're way more fun to talk to than the people I've been talking to for 7 years, okay? You have a more positive outlook on life and believers and all this. But it's great to be here, okay? And what I really want to do is share the story in a way that can allow you to go forward, maybe a little more confidence, but more importantly, be part of the solution, because the solution is still not here. And I'm going to share with you some of the insights that I learned along the way. But it's just good to be here. It feels good to be here. I haven't shared, Eric and I have a long history. I haven't shared the stage with him in almost 2 decades. We were distributors together in 2 companies and did real well there. And we were the officers of a company and we did well there. And we were an owner of a company together and we did well there. And we were consulted to a company that we took to 1.5 million active customers. These are people outside the business model. We did that together. So a lot of cool things. And actually, a lot of you might know me from the book, The Slight Edge. And yeah, right. I agree. No, but and he was there when I was putting it together. He was my workout partner, coming up with the thoughts and putting it all together and coming out. So we have a long history with that. But as you know, there was a ruling they call it a landmark ruling just recently after our battle with the FTC. And it's now, you can call it, some people call it the gold standard, some people call it the Neora standard. Doesn't matter. What it is case law, okay? And this is the most important ruling in the history of this industry. There hasn't been one like this. We're the first company to ever take the FTC and the government to court and take it all the way to the end and then win, okay? And and so this ruling has a lot of meaning, okay? And what's really neat about it is finally we have something we can lean into. And what's really neat, I know what I really want you to get to understand today, if you understand this ruling, but also at the same time, understand where the marketplace is going. Because this industry is changing very dynamically right now. And it's going to change. It started changing. It was changing going into the pandemic. It increased it during the pandemic, and it's continuing on. And it's what is happening in industry. If we're going to be successful, the companies that will be, and some companies are going to adjust rather well. Some companies are going to adjust rather badly. And some companies are going to fall out because of this. There's change going on, and that's okay. Change happens all the time. But the change is actually happening to a better place. The way the consumer wants to buy is changing dramatically. The way that people who consider themselves independent want to work is changing dramatically. And we are, as an industry, positioned to leverage that, but it's a whole new way of working. And if you study our ruling, which most people haven't read this ruling, it's very in depth. This judge took 11 months after this whole time to write this ruling, and it's one of the most in-depth rulings you've ever read. And I guarantee you, your attorneys or your companies are reading it, okay? But when she establishes this ruling, it's almost as she was giving us the path to be part of where the marketplace is going. And she saw what we were doing. So I'm going to speak to that. And just recently, last week, was the 60 days after the ruling. And you have to wait till they have the time to appeal. And so in normal lawsuits, you have 30 days to appeal. The government always makes sure the rules are on their side. Trust me, when you're fighting the government, you have a pea shooter and they got a shotgun. It's the most unfair fight you've ever gone through in your life. But they had 60 days to appeal. Everybody thought they would appeal because this ruling was not just a win, it was a beat-down win, okay? She called them out in this whole thing. And they thought they would, so there was 5 things went after. There was the product, there was the income, there was a pyramid, there was a thing called agency, and there was a thing called means of instrumentation. And we won hands down on the pyramid, and we won really hands down on the product and the income, and I'll explain that in a second. But the thing that they thought they would appeal is called agency, because they really want, the government does not want the independent contractor status to exist. They do not like it, okay? They want to push everybody in the corporations where they have control. That's just the way it is. And so they've been going after that, and they're trying to not allow people to be independent contractors. They don't like 1099. They want everybody to live in a W-2 world. That's where they're going. And so they wanted to prove that we were controlling our people as agents, okay? And they came after that. That went really hard. And the other thing they call it is means and instrumentations. Means I have the means as the owner or the person running the company to give you the instruments to go do the wrong thing. Okay, and that really is what my lawyer said is one thing they're going to go after very, very hard, because if they can get that, if they can get a ruling on that thing, it's just going to clamp everybody down. And so when they didn't appeal that, that said a lot, okay? Because, and quite honestly, this lawsuit, of course, it protected Neora. It protected this industry, but it protected, because of that, it protected the real estate industry, the insurance industry, the broker industry, anybody who operates in a 1099 status. They should be, they should be thanking us for what happened there. That was a major, major win. And the ruling was so decisive that this will be the case law that they'll be citing way after I'm gone. They're going to be saying the Neora Olson case law, okay? And so, trust me, it's not worth going through to get there. But with that said, what I want to share with you guys, and one thing about that, though, it's interesting, is because we won that, they were always coming after owners saying that we made you do the wrong thing. Now I think they're going to start watching you more. And they're going to find people who are doing the wrong thing, and they're going to go say, we'll go get you, okay? Because I'll guarantee you this. I've got to know these people very, very well. And I spent a lot of time with them in DC, just a lot of time talking to them, and they do not like us, okay? In any way at all. I mean, they don't even go out of their way to try to be nice to you. I mean, you really don't even feel like you're an American citizen when you're in front of them. There's just the arrogancy, the condescending nature of the way they talk to you and treat you is, it almost gets me emotional, because it's not right, okay? Because I'm a true patriot. I believe in this country. I believe in the laws. I love this country. But what they go through is amazing. But with that said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you some of my insights, a little bit of my opinion, and I'm going to also share with you a little about Neora, not as a pitch, but more to understand why we were able to fight first of all, why we were able to make the decision to fight the fight, okay? And then why we were able to win the fight. And what I hope you see through my presentation today is how that really, if you get that, puts you in alignment with what's going on in the marketplace. I want to share with you a market. This is a very, very prestigious research company. They're out of, I think up in the Netherlands. And they're highly, highly respected. They just came out about 30 days ago. I'm going to read you a very short part of this, okay? But listen, this says, because what's happening, we're right now about a $190 billion industry. This market research company says by the year 2030, that's 6 years from now, be a 330 billion. Okay, so it's taken all these years to get to 190. In 6 more years, we're going to go to 330. Okay, and that's what they're talking about. Here's what they say it's going to happen. I just pulled my neck back there, so if I don't look right when I look down, okay. It says consumers is a key word here. This industry has to be driven by consumers now, and I'm going to speak to that more. Consumers' increasing desire to examine and verify products before making a purchase is a driving force in the global industry, okay? Consumer wants to make that decision, okay? This trend, influenced by the internet ecosystem, which we understand, and changing consumer demands, has given rise to a new business models, including the direct-to-consumer D2C distribution channels. Direct selling has emerged as a dynamic and rapidly evolving method of product and service distribution. That's what's going on. Now, how was that written? That was written from the customer's perspective. Okay. And that's what's going on right now. The way people want to buy and the way people want to work is changing. E-commerce is exploding. That's the new future. The direct sales industry has to be part of that. What do we do in the direct sales industry? I know you can't hear about, this will move into the lawsuit, okay? But what do we do in the direct sales industry that sets us apart from the e-commerce world? You understand they say by the year 2040 that 90% of all consumer goods will be through e-commerce, not retail. That's how, so we got this fast. So what do we as an industry do that Amazon can't do? What we can do, if a product needs to be felt, touched, experienced, explored, handled, demonstrated, educated. We can do that better than Amazon can. We have to lean into who we are, okay? So this space is growing very rapidly, the e-commerce platform. Inside of it, why do you think we're gonna go, it took us 100 years to get to 190 billion, but we're about ready to go to 330 billion in the next 6 years, because the pie is getting bigger. We have our piece of the pie, and what is that piece? We give demonstrations of products. My soccer mom can go to the game and show somebody a product, let them touch the product, give them testimony of the product, show them pictures of the product, talk about it, okay? They can bring the experience to that. That's what the direct sales is, okay? We can bring that live experience to it. And so we need to, lean into that, because that is the differentiation for us. And so as you look out there, they're saying that by, as I said, in 24, it's gonna be 90%. The other thing is the biggest movement I've ever seen in independent contractors ever is what came out during the pandemic and after the pandemic, called the gig economy. We're all hearing about the gig economy, but I'm gonna be talking about, because this judge in her ruling sets up the standards about how you can operate there, but what we have to do as an industry to get there. Because right now, the 50 to 60 million people looking into the gig economy, only 3% of them have picked a direct sales company so far. Because what we got to quit doing as an industry, we can't exist over in the corner of the universe by ourselves with our own industry, with our own vernacular, doing things our own way, and expect them to relate to us. We got to start looking and smelling like them. We got to sell to them the way they want to buy, and we got to work with them the way they want to work. I'm going to talk about that, okay? But this ruling, when you study this really in-depth ruling, it puts it, the case law now totally supports people who are driving consumer models, people who are driving the ability to engage in opportunity without all the games that sometimes we play in this industry. And that was a big part of this case when we went through it. And so I'm gonna tell you how we put this company together and how that allowed us to stand up. I've been in this industry a long time. And when I decided to come out of semi-retirement to build this company, I said to all my friends, I said, I'm going to build the perfect direct sales company. You were right, okay? And I'm going to take all the gotchas out of it. And I'm going to show everybody how you can do it. That was me doing that, okay? And so that's what we did. Our company is $20 to get in. There's no more fees. Took all the fees out. Took all the qualifying. I'll go through all the things. Just took all the gotchas out. Back then, there was nobody had a direct-to-consumer portal. The day we launched, we had a portal that sat over here, and only people came to that portal were customers. Distributors came through here. They never touched, okay? And it was just a clean portal. We could treat them like an e-commerce platform would treat you. We were building an e-commerce direct-to-consumer model. Want to take out all the need ever for anybody to have inventory. You don't have to have inventory. You go get the customer, we'll ship the product to you and we'll pay, okay? There's no need for inventory, because there is no need for that anymore with everything that's going on, unless you're chasing a comp plan with packs. Big difference, okay? But it should be with the technology we have now, the systems we have now, that you can just build a direct-to-consumer. So we built a direct-to-consumer portal where we never even had their social security numbers. Where these people bought voluntarily, like they would buy any other product, person's product voluntarily, and that's what we built. No inventory demands, okay? And here's what I'm going to give you the statistics that showed up. Now, for the people who saw our company when it was called Neora before we changed it to Neora, we broke records in our first years doing this. Out of this industry is 100 plus years old and thousands of companies. Less than 0.1% of the companies ever in this industry had done growth-wise what we did, and we did it on customers, okay? So I'm gonna give you some numbers and stuff that the judge cites in the ruling. And this now is part of the standard of case law. That is why we were able to stop them from what they were trying to do. Number one, 80% of our business comes from customers. We don't have their social security number. We know nothing. They're buying voluntarily because they like the product. 4% of our sales were packs. We didn't build a model. We were chasing the comp plan with packs. And the judge saw this, and the FTC dug down hard on this. And I'll get to this in a while, but they spent so much time trying to take that apart. okay? Because that to them, they wanted to prove that we didn't have customers. To them, we wanted to prove that we played games with PACs, okay? A third of our brand partners were former customers that just switched over to becoming a brand partner. That's what we call a distributor. A third of our distributors come from our customer base. When they left the customer base and came over to the brand partner side, we subtract them off. So that 80% doesn't include them. If you included them, the number go up over 90%, okay? A third of them, of our brand partners, come from our customer base because they like the products so much they decided to become a customer. Follow this one. And I'll get to this later on how this happened. Our customers spend more money per order than our brand partners. That's huge. And they dissected that hard. Because if you take all your customers, if you have them, okay, you take all your customers, and you take your total volume, and you divide it by customers, that's your average customer order. You take your brand partners, you divide it, and your customers are buying $80 a month, and your brand partners are buying $500 a month, you got a problem, okay? Because you're moving product, driving a comp plan versus moving product, driving sales. This is a big, big thing, okay? When we were able to show that our customers spent more than our brand partners, you couldn't say that we were playing games with the comp plan. Couldn't say that. The numbers didn't support that, okay? They ran into that one. We never paid $1 to play. Never paid anybody for recruiting. Never paid, you recruit that person, you get money for it. We never paid $1 because pay to play is where they want to get you, okay? So I'm going to talk about, we here as distributors in this great industry, your owners are under a lot of pressure right now. They're talking to me. I know them. I'm in conference with them. And they're trying to figure out how to adjust to this, okay? But adjusting to this, it's going to be difficult, but it's going to be good, okay? It's going to be good for us because we, as an industry, can't quit being the way we were. We got to start looking like the way the world is. We can't keep expecting the world out there to come and play our game. We got to go and play their game if we want to be part of that explosion that's going on right now, okay? The other thing we did is we have no structure. You can go to the top of our comp plan just selling product. No structure. Doesn't mean we don't have structure. Don't take that wrong, okay? But you can just do anything. I'll get to that later on. But so the idea of somebody having to get somebody over here to rank so I can rank, they would not like that, okay? They want you to be a legitimate marketing company selling products to legitimate customers because they want the products. So we have no structure. Now, what happens in our company, people come in because everybody's selling products, they sell it or not, start making $500,000 a month. Most of our business is people making $500,000 a month just selling products, okay? You can't help but have somebody saying, I want to do that. So all of a sudden you say, okay, join me. And all of a sudden you step into what? The structure side. It's the greatest thing you do. The greatest honey you got is your products, okay? And customers who all of a sudden people start selling the product and they drift into the structure side, okay? So we had no structure. So with that said, we were going along, everything was happening real good for us. And one day in 2016, the government shows up. It's called a CID. And there's CIDs in this industry right now. And there's actually been letters pretty much sent to every single company in this industry, put them on notice, okay, about what's going on. And when we got it, I sat down with everybody and I said, give them everything we got. I'm not going to hide nothing. We have nothing to hide. Why are they here? I just thought I just must have got the unlucky draw, okay? And so we gave them everything. We opened up to them, anything they wanted. Gave them 6 million documents over 16 rounds of production. Every email in the history of our company, every email I ever sent out, every email our staff sent to each other, every email to the field, every email our field was talking to each other, every single thing, every video, every conference call, every recruiting call, every conference, everything. We gave them every single thing we had. They could see anything they wanted. We hired Dr. Vandella. Dr. Vandella is an econometrician. Econometrician is way above an economist. Dr. Vandella used to be head of the economic bureau for the FTC. They still look at him as the gold standard. We spent millions of dollars while we were debating with them from 2016 to 2019, spent millions of dollars. Vandella, we gave them all of our data, we gave Vandella all of our data, and we stayed out. We said, you go through all the data. And he came back, and we went and met with the commissioners, with the FTC. He says, and this is the guy that their head economist looks up to as his mentor. He says, not only are they not a pyramid, they're not even close to being a pyramid. So we gave them everything, produced all the data. And during that time, we studied every single case law, every single guidance, every single DSA posting, every single lawyer podcast to see where to go. I thought we were the cleanest company there was, okay? And we were. We did everything we could. But what I found out is they don't care. They don't care. When the book comes out, you'll realize how much they don't care, okay? It's actually disgusting what goes on. So we started going back and forth with them. Came up with about 13 things that they said, well, if you do this or this. We pretty much could do them all, but most of the industry, I was thinking, they'll have a hard time doing these. But we're kind of looking at them, but got to two that were big. One was, you can't pay any commissions on any purchases by a distributor. Only customers. We'd only lose 10% of our company. I could have survived that easy. It would have crushed the industry. That's where I had a huge problem, a huge, huge problem. And then they kept on saying, we want you to do Avocare. Take it down to 2 levels. And I always like to say, and we didn't advocate, okay? But we fought over those things, We finally, I knew what was going on in the industry, all the people we could talk to. And it was a tough decision because, I remember I went to my attorneys. I said, start putting together a lawsuit. We're going to sue. They said, no, you don't sue the government. I go, figure out how I can sue the government. And so they started putting it together. Spent a long time putting it together. We couldn't get to a place that was right, okay? I was looking for a solution, but I was looking for a solution that was fair. And finally, we made a decision to sue. One thing we did about that was really good. We were transparent, had our field on. We told them everything was going on. We told them why we're going to do it. We're protecting you. We're doing everything. We sued them. They sued us back immediately, okay? And then we spent millions of dollars the next 9 months arguing about jurisdiction. We finally gave up jurisdiction. We moved from the plaintiff into the defendant, and we got it moved into Dallas, Texas, and that's where the trial was done. And so here's what goes on, okay? This is what you got to get. Everything I just said to you, statistics and way beyond, the judge cites all that data in the ruling. Cites all that data in the ruling. The FTC knew all that data 6 years ago. So everything she cited for why we won, they knew, but they never stopped. There's 2 words I learned how they operate. One's, and these are their words, not my words, choke point and fencing. When you sit down with them, they literally look you in the eyes and say, you will never survive a lawsuit with us. The collateral damage will take you out of business. The fact that you're in a lawsuit with us will put you out of business. Your field will leave you. Your management will leave you. And guess what? They did. The bad ones, the good ones stayed. In their opening documents to us, they said that anybody that worked for me could never work in the direct sales industry again. So I lost 4 of my 7 top executives because they're afraid if I stick around here, I'll never be able to work again. But the good ones stayed, okay? Just that alone, that hit is devastating, but it gets way worse. All of a sudden, the bank we're using, Bank of America, around the world, there are Treasury Bank, there are Merchant Processor Bank. You have 90 days and you got to get out of here. We don't want to see you again. We've only moved billions of dollars through them. We've never done anything wrong. Now you try and go from a tier 1 bank in 90 days, get new banking around the world. And you got to go to that bank and tell them, oh, by the way, I'm here because I'm in a lawsuit with FTC, because they're going to know. So you got to tell them. So you go from a tier 1 bank to a tier 3 bank. Service fees go way up. It costs us millions of dollars, okay? Service levels go way, way down. And that's what we had to go through. That's hard to survive. Choking you. They're choking you. My bank, who happened to be Bank of America, decades, I've never bounced a check, told me personally I had to leave. I hadn't done anything wrong. I haven't broke the law. We haven't gone to court yet. You got to leave. Got thrown out of my own bank, okay? Our suppliers, we're not going to have accounts receivable if somebody's in a lawsuit with the government, so everything goes on, pay up front. They're choking you, choking you. Insurance rates go up, choking. It just gets worse. But the hardest thing was the public scrutiny. All of a sudden, I remember talking to people and everybody thought, I tell them we didn't do anything wrong, we're a good company, but they always were thinking, there's got to be something. There's got to be a smoking gun. This can't be going on. I'm going, you guys, I'm telling you this is how it is, okay? But we live in a social world. My brand partners, for 4 years, you go recruit where people Google you and are saying that you're a scam. Go try and do it. That's what my field had to do for 4 years. They're choking you and choking you because the government has ultimate authority on the front page of Google. Google gives them ultimate authority. You cannot push them down. They're choking you. My friends turned on me. I had friends say, Jeff's going to go to prison. I go, this is not a criminal case. It's a civil case, you know? But like people believe the government. They believe it. That's called choking. What they want to do is put so much pressure on you, you agree to things that are not the law. That's called fencing in. That's what Avocare did. They started fencing in. If we had given it to Avocare, it was over. That would have been a domino effect that was just taking the industry because they'd have gotten their momentum there. That's what they do is they choke you so that you will agree to things that are not the law because they don't want to go to Congress and get the law. They like ambiguity. They like uncertainty because they want to establish the rules. They don't want to go to Congress. And so that's the game they play. They choke you and they try to give into things that creates new guidance and the industry has to adjust to it. Okay. That's what they did. What happened here is we fought them. And what happened, and I told them this, I go, you guys don't want to do this because we're going to go to court. We're going to beat you. They just laugh at you because you're going to now establish case law that's going to stop you from doing this as badly as you did. And that's what happened. We went after them. And so we went through court. I could tell you story after story after story, all the things that happened in that 4 years, what happened in the courtroom. We have them twice in the courtroom showing falsified documentation on expert witnesses. Get the ruling and read it. It's all in there. So it's the game they play, okay? We got it done. It took her 11 months to write the ruling. It was a very, very, very big ruling. You know, it was really funny because going through it the whole time, I kept on saying, why is this happening to me? I tried to build the right company. I took all the gotchas out. I did everything right. And it was hard, but what I've come to realize, I said, you know, I'm a man of faith. I go, this is how it works. This is the divine intervention. I got to go through this so that when I win the case, I really can do something to change the rest of the industry, okay? And so, and so that's where we went, okay? So what have we done? Here's what you're going to learn from this. Customers are God. You got to look at your business model. How much of your volume is being drawn is happening because of customers who are outside of your business model. They're not You don't have their social security number. They're not into the comp plan. They're separate, okay? Customers are everything. I'm gonna get into that in a second, okay? Packs, you're chasing a comp plan with packs. If your volume is a lot of packs being sold for rank at the end of the month, they're gonna see that. Trust me, they go into every single thing, okay? That day is gonna have to change. People are gonna have to start, this ruling is very clear about that, okay? So you gotta be customers. You can't be playing comp plan games. You gotta be building a real customer model. It's okay to use a direct sales model to build customer gatherers, okay? But that's real important. Compliance. This judge cited over and over and over our compliance department. You heard Eric up here talking about it. My people said to me all the time, why does everybody else get to do what they're doing and we can't do it? Well, they're not in the lawsuit either. But the thing is, compliance, the reason we were able to stop means of instrumentation and stop agency is because we did have a robust, active compliance department that did enforce the policy procedures, that did enforce those, that did make you have disclaimers. I would sit at our conferences and I see the disclaimer statement up on the screen 80% of the time. I mean, it was bad, okay? But it is how we had to live. Our field, we had to force them to do it. We put on, there was a day and a half of that trial was just nothing but looking at our compliance data, okay? And this judge cites in that, hey, they did everything, they can't control what these people do, but they did everything to educate them, everything to train them, everything to watch them. And they weren't a company that tried to crush people and they broke the rules. We don't do that. We don't go and get rid of you. Go in this, I know you understand this. Here's what you need to know. And we always follow that with, this is what you need to do. Okay, give them a plan to go out of it. But the compliance thing was real important. So just understand, compliance is going to become more and more the process. What's going to happen, us distributors here, or brand, whatever you call yourself, we're either going to work with our companies to be part of the solution or part of the problem. Okay, it's changing now, is what I'm trying to say. And it's okay, because it's good. It needs to happen, okay? But so just be a part of that. So what can you do? What should you be looking for? The future is, like it says in this thing, is customers. The industry needs to be driven by customers. You have to have a very robust customer acquisition model. I'm just telling you a little bit about ours, but just get some ideas. First of all, does your e-commerce platform look like the others outside the direct sales space? You can't have some clunky, slow e-commerce model because we don't have to be very good because you're in our business model. Your customers are not in your business model. So you got to look and feel and smell and operate like a real e-commerce platform. You got to invest in that, okay? Heavily invest into that. It's real important that you have products of value. I look at our cost of goods sold in our financial statements, and it's higher than most companies. You got to really invest in products that people are buying. You don't want products being bought because of people are buying them to launder money amongst friends, okay? The product cannot be being bought because of the comp plan. They got to be being bought because of the consumer desire. That's the law now, okay? That's the law. And so you got to have products of value. What's really good on the other side of that, you build a book of business. See, my distributors, when they start every month, they got a book of business like an insurance agent. We had people who bought a product 12 years ago when we launched the company. They've been buying that same product for 12 years, and the person that sold it to them is getting paid every single month. You start building this book of business, repeatable business. You have real products. People, if they like a product, they buy it, okay? Especially if we go out and demonstrate to them. It needs to be felt, touch, experience, support, handled, demonstrated, and we get them to like it, and we're there with them. They don't get that from the store. They don't get that from Amazon. They get that from us. We should have more stickiness, more retention than any other distribution model. So if you really are building a customer base with a true e-commerce platform, a real direct-to-consumer model, you start building a book of business. And so instead of at the beginning of every month, you have to chase your business, you start out pretty much predictable income. We know at the beginning of every month, that's pretty much you've got, because those are our customers. So there's a good side to that. There's a really good side to that is to have what we call book B business. We have no fees to be a customer. It blows my mind. I asked them to go through all the companies, and I can't believe how many companies are charging fees to be a customer. You don't charge fees outside this industry to be a customer. Nobody does that. We got to quit. We can't keep on saying we are the direct sales world and we're going to do things our way. E-commerce is exploding. It's happening with or without us. We got to look like them, okay? They do not charge fees when you buy their product, okay? They don't do that. We have things, I'll give you examples. We have that like customer referral rewards program. What we do, you're a customer. If you go out and refer a customer referring a customer, we're gonna give you $10 and credit towards the next thing. And the person who's that customer gets $10. So it could be just boom, bada boom, bada boom, bada boom. Just investing in the future of the products, getting them engaged with you, okay? Referring people to you. We have a Neora cash back program where every time a customer buys a product, we give them a 10% of whatever they bought credit towards their next purchase. So we're just constantly saying, we love you for being this. We're constantly communicating to them like you see your e-commerce platforms do. We give them birthday gifts. Real birthday gifts, not an email, a real hard thing, okay? What you got to become competitive in the e-commerce platform. You got to become competitive in the direct-to-consumer platform. You got to act and smell like they do out there, okay? If you want to be part of what the biggest movement this industry has ever seen. I mean, we're sitting in front of the biggest opportunity in the world. And again, I'm going to go back to this. What do we do that they can't do? We bring us to the table. If a product is felt, touched, experienced, explored, handled, demonstrated, educated, we can kick butt in that. They can't do it. That's our unfair advantage. We should be able to sell better than them. We should have better retention than them. And because of that, if you have quality products, you treat it properly, you can build a book of business, okay? And so that's on the buy side. Let's go to the work side, okay? Because this really plays into this. And when you read this case law, it signs up there. We got to look like where the world's at right now. The gig economy is rocking, and it's just going to get bigger and better, okay? The days of us as an industry sitting out over in the side of the universe by ourselves saying we play by a whole different set of rules, and we got this vernacular, and here's how we do things, there's a convergence going on. We gotta look like them. We can't expect them to come and come in and play our game. Okay, so example, we do $20 and you never do no renewal fees. Because go to the gig economy. They don't do that to them, okay? So these people have options they didn't have 5 years ago, people. There's a lot of other options to make secondary income. There's a workforce like we've never seen with the retirement going on. This workforce is being led by women. It's mainly 70% women who left the workplace, 70%. They didn't leave the workplace because they don't want to work. They left because they wanted flexibility to be with their family, their parents, and their community. Okay? They just want to belong to something. They're not looking for a game. They just want to belong to something, okay? So we don't have any fees like that. They can you can rank advance with no recruiting. No recruiting at all. Recruiting is they need to drift into it. I'll give that a second. We have no inventory requirements. We have a program like 3 or Free. If you go out and get 3 customers, like on our night cream, then you get 1/3 of that in credits. So you get your night cream for free. Same 3 customers the next month, yours is free. 3 customers next month, yours is free. But guess what? If you do that, you get the entire comp plan. There's no qualifying. Now you're acting like the gig economy. There's no qualifying. They get their product for free and that. We have a thing called Neora Gives Back. Every time you sell a product, you get credits. Those credits go towards buying any product you want to. Why do we do 3 or Free and Neora Gives Back? Because what does the gig economy do that we can't do? They give them a transaction. They give the Uber driver a customer. They give the DoorDash person a customer. So we're trying to take out, we could be competitive. We'll say, well, we'll give you 3 or Free. We'll give you Neora Gives Back, okay? Trying to make it something palatable to them. You got to treat your customer gatherers as if they're part of your team. So I've seen people bolting on programs, that type of thing. You got to bake it into your comp plan. We're taking 800 people to a 5-star resort in Mexico in February. You know how many of those people are going to be just customer gatherers? We don't treat them differently than this. We bring them into our community. Okay, they're not just something we're bolting on. They're part of the process, okay? 40% of every sales goes to the person who sold it. And you're probably saying, well, is there money left for us? We have a very strong back end. Our back end is as strong as anybody else's, okay? But a back end gets even stronger when it's built on a book of repeating business, okay? And that is the beauty of everything that happened right here. And one thing we have, think about it, the sweet spot in the gig economy is $500 to $1,000. So if you have real products with a real e-commerce platform, direct to consumer, you give them all the tools and assets, you got a good, robust customer acquisition model, that's easy to do. You don't have any of the fees. They don't have to chase the comp plan. They don't have to do anything like that. They're just selling the product. But all of a sudden, somebody else says, I'm interested. Boom, they drop over into the structure side, okay? And all of a sudden, they start having these dreams of networking and that type of thing. And so what do we have that the gig economy doesn't have? A book of business. You don't get a book of business at Uber or DoorDash. But also we have that they don't have? Community. There's not going to be no DoorDash people going to a Port Authority resort, okay? We bring community to them, okay? And so, I mean, think about it. We got to lean into who we are. Lean into who we are. And what this ruling did is it validated it. It just cites over and over and over and over our customer acquisition model, our product value, our business model didn't make people do things just to chase the business model. That was a big thing. They were just doing it because they wanted to. That's why our customers spend more money in our brand partners. Why is that? Because our brand partners don't have to, because they're getting 3 or free. See, they're getting the org gives back. They don't have to spend as much money as a customer because they're getting these perks given to them. Okay, all of a sudden we're competitive in that world. Only 3% of the gig economy has come over here so far, because we've got to quit telling them that we got to quit telling them they got to come in here and play our game. We got to play their game. That's what this ruling said. Okay, so I'm just going to go back to what I said here earlier. I said customers increasing desire to examine and verify products, felt, touched, experienced, explored, handled, demonstrated, educated, okay? Before making a purchase is a driving force of the global industry. This is what we're talking about, 190 billion to 330 billion. This trend, influenced by the internet ecosystem, which we're part of, and changing consumer demands, which I just talked about, okay, has given rise to new business models. You guys, you got to allow your owners to shift to where the world's going to. If you want to be a dinosaur, every dinosaur I know, I've never met one, is dead, okay? The old way of doing business for a lot of places has to change. It has to change. And this case law was really clear about it, okay? It established that customer acquisition, real customers, real products, real compliance. That's what it established, okay? New models, including direct-to-consumer distribution channels, direct selling has emerged as a dynamic and rapidly, next word is key, evolving method of product and services and distribution. People, it's not only the right thing to do, it's the smart thing to do, okay? I mean, I see this industry is positioned like it's never been positioned before for growth. The market is expanding rapidly. We do something that nobody else can do, whether it's in the way people consume, okay, or the way people work. We bring us to the table, which nobody else can do that. The marketing forces are changing, okay? And it was really almost eerie to see how this ruling was so in alignment with where the market's going. And, you know, they say by 2030, like I said, it's gonna go to 330 billion from 190. It took us 100 years to get to 190. Think about that, okay? But think about it. I always say in our company, we always talk faith, but faith, family, legacy, okay? They say by the year 2040, that 90% of all consumer goods are going to be e-commerce. They didn't say it's all going to be selling packs to people chasing a comp plan. E-commerce, okay? You want to build a legacy business? You get in alignment with the market forces. This industry has the potential to be the most dynamic marketing tool inside the space of e-commerce business and inside the space of the gig economy. Those forces aren't going away. They're growing rapidly, and we should be getting our lion's share of it. We really should, okay? So what I'm really proud of is that this case law is finally giving us something we put our teeth into. What I'm asking of you, and when I came here, when Eric asked me, is because really this is not going to happen just at the board level, the CEO level, the owner level. It's got to be us together working together, okay? Understand, because they're going to maybe ask you to do things differently. And you want them to be asking you to maybe do some things differently. Some companies are closer to this, some companies are farther away. There's going to have to be some dramatic changes sometimes. Some people are going to have to make some bold decisions. That's okay. Change is good. But when you have change that's going to is in the marketplace that is happening as fast as is happening in front of us right now, to not be putting yourself in alignment with looking like them and operating like them is foolish, okay? And what's beautiful about this is you now have a case law. If you go out and bust it to do that, it's going to protect your back. Your back finally is protected. There's never been a case law like this given to an industry that established something so clear that was so in alignment with where the marketplace is going, okay? So with that, God bless y'all. Wish you the best. Let's all have a great conference. Thank you, guys.
Boom. So good. And he's our CEO.